Internet horror stories have been around for ages, and have been presented in many different forms, from countless videos about the Slender Man, to that one horrifying webcomic called the Bong Chong Dong Ghost. But the king of internet horror stories have always been the creepypastas. With such great works of art including Jeff the Killer, Happy Appy, and the Russian Sleep Experiment. Around the mid to late 2000s, creepypastas were nothing like the laughingstocks they are seen as today, where any 13-year-old can write a semi-serious ghost story, throw in some blood, maybe a psycho killer, and call it a day. In an age where information wasn't spread as fast and as wide, these were actually scary. Rumors about a deranged killer who's on the run and could get you in your sleep? That's something that could keep any stupid child using the internet when they shouldn't up all night. Stories about your favorite TV show having a lost and disturbing episode where the content was so horrific and graphic they were never put in the air? I sure am glad this random internet user was here to unearth this mystery, but I already talked about those gems last year. And there's another type of creepypasta that's way more popular, being the stories that focus on mysterious and spooky encounters people have while playing their favorite video games, like Super Mario, Pokemon, and Minecraft, I guess. Despite there being some pretty decent creepypastas revolving around games, the abundance of lazy stories really tainted how a lot of people viewed the genre. Like, Banned Drowned is actually good for the time it came out, and even though it's dated nowadays, the way the story was told through modding the game was fairly unheard of at the time, and added to the plausibility of whether or not the story was true. Like, Slender Man was created with the intention of being scary, Jeff the Killer was created to be scary. Majora's Mask? Yeah, I don't think so. So the idea of getting a haunted copy of a beloved childhood game, for many was extremely unsettling. It really doesn't help that Majora's Mask is a game already filled with creepy and disturbing characters and environments, which I think adds to the believability of the original Banned Drowned story. What if this happened to you? What if this happened to me?
What if this happened to me? Not gonna lie, when I was a kid, these things got me like scared. You know, I used to be straight up terrified of things like Buried Alive, that weird Pokemon creepypasta where you just straight up fight a corpse and if you lose you get eaten alive. You know, I remember Pokemon Lost Silver and oh goddamn, that is a lot of Pokemon creepypasta. You know, one of the ones I knew really got me up at night as a kid was the Tails though. Like, man, bro, I hate the Tails though, bro. Hey, speaking of, didn't your friend make a video about the Tails doll on their second channel?
What? Yeah, actually, my friend just released a video about the history behind the Tails doll. You should definitely check that out if you want more spooky stories to keep you awake at night. Don't comment that it's my channel though, cause I assure you it's not. But you know what's better than these weak children's ghost stories? You wanna know about the real horror that's crawled its way from the deepest crypts, the darkest abysses, the most horrific corners of the internet? Make sure you keep your lights on for this one, because I'm gonna tell you about Sonic.exe.
What?
Okay, you're really gonna be standing over my shoulder this whole time? Alright guys, I don't exactly trust this Simply Dad guy, if that even is his real name. Before we continue with the video, I think we're gonna need some protection. It's a good thing I've got my Ridge wallet. I've thrown away my ragged, bulky wallet and replaced it with this brand new, sleek and stylish Ridge wallet that fits perfectly in my pocket. I'm using the titanium wallet, which is really convenient, and there's some other cool products on their site too, like this useful waterproof backpack I'd recommend. So head over to ridge.com/lsmark and use code lsmark for 10% off and free worldwide shipping. Links in the description.
Mark, what's that got to do with Sonic.exe, bro?
I was getting to that, okay? So back in the year of 2011, a young, budding author by the name of Jesse the Hyena submitted a story on the Creepypasta wiki about a mysterious CD that the narrator received from a friend that had Sonic.exe written on it. Our protagonist Tom opens by saying,
I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. I don't think I've ever played a glitchy or hacked game before.
I feel like we could make a very easy joke here, but let's move on.
Tom started his morning off just like any other, up until the mailman showed up and gave him a very strange disc.
His friend Kyle sent it to him, warning that he must destroy the CD before it's too late, and he couldn't because it's too late for me. If the implication here is that he's dead, then I sure wonder how his ghost managed to write out this letter and post it to Tom. So naturally, being the smart young man that he is, Tom says,
Even though Kyle is my best friend and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple gaming disc could do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right?
Something you're going to notice about this is that the author is constantly switching up which tense it's written in, and if we're led to believe that he's eventually killed off by Sonic.exe, why then is it told to us in times in the past tense, like he's reminiscent about something that happened to him before? Who knows, maybe this is just some 400 IQ big brain avant-garde storytelling that us simple-minded baby readers won't be able to pick up on.
That could be true. I mean, what's more likely? This is some paragon example of internet horror stories, or a poorly put together story about a haunted Sonic game made in a weekend. Yeah, okay, let's continue. After this, Tom puts the game into his PC and is ready for a rip-roaring good time with Sonic.exe. Now, despite starting out as a simple story, something that can really elevate and visually represent your tale is to have a game along with it. Ben Drown did this, with the creator modding the game to follow along with the events of his story. They didn't just shower each location in hyper-realistic blood. They cleverly modded it to work in a way that would still make sense inside the game. For some reason, it's also led people to genuinely believing the story is real. I suppose it's not too out of the ordinary, when there are also people who think there exists an actual SpongeBob episode about Squidward killing himself. You think I'm joking, but believe you me, these people exist out there, and probably should not be allowed to drive or operate heavy machinery.
So 1 year after the story was released, Mist Crimson created a game to go along with it. Although, instead of being a modded version of Sonic 1 or something, it was built from the ground up. So yeah, it looks and plays like ass. And sadly, this is the version that blew up in popularity and is what most people think of when Sonic.exe gets mentioned. But I mean, to be real, the source material ain't really nothing to write home about either. So if they wanted the game to be good, that was a steep hill to climb.
So at this point, the story takes a very long and drawn-out approach. Basically, he plays as a Sonic character. Things seem a little odd at first. Suddenly, blood! And a creepy version of Sonic comes to kill our favorite Sonic characters, Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik. Oh no, even the title screen is different! Honestly, all you need to see in this game is the title screen. It perfectly encapsulates the entire experience of playing it. Here's this seemingly fine Sonic game. But blood! The stars are all rusted, the lake is filled with blood, and Sega 666? But that's the spooky number!
And then we got Sonic.exe himself, and I mean, what is there to say? It's just Sonic, but with black eyes and red pupils. At least something like the Tails doll managed to look somewhat creepy without being so in your face about it. Like, what is this dude staring? Stop looking at me, bro. Oh, we ain't even gotten to the best part of the story yet. The part where it ends.
So because there wouldn't be a story without it, Tom decides to not turn the game off at all while playing, or, you know, destroy it after noticing things are strange, like he was asked. He plays to the very end, and I guess because even Sonic has more sense than our protagonist, the computer shuts itself off.
Tom then says, and I quote, "I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there." And you see what I mean when we're suddenly reading it as if it's happening in the moment and not in the past no more?
Tom then hears a voice behind him, and what he saw made him scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me. Was a Sonic plushie with red marker drawn under its eyes? Oh, sorry, I mean, a Sonic plushie smiling with blood stains under its eyes. Ah, the horror.
Mark, why are you being sarcastic, bro? I thought you were trying to act like the story was scary.
Yeah, well, oh, okay, yeah, this story sucks, I won't lie. It's really odd, though, that despite being so not good, Sonic.exe blew up in popularity, becoming, at the time, one of the most popular creepypastas you could find. People were all over this craze, with Let's Play channels jumping to get views by playing the Sonic.exe game, people making fan art, fan characters, sequel stories, animations, you name it. Even today, Sonic.exe is still relevant, with YouTube videos based around the character being uploaded as recently as a week ago as of writing the video, where we get to see grown men who all have the exact same personalities as one another, screaming like banshees about a bloody Sonic plush they bought on eBay. 3 AM videos are truly a blight in this world. But when you consider that in the current age, Sonic.exe is so bad that it got exiled from the Creepypasta website over to the Trollpasta website, being used as an example of the most cliché, lazily written, and genuinely bad stories you could possibly make, Yet it's not only still relevant, but I'd go on to say that it was a pioneer in the indie horror genre. If anything, it created its own genre of games to the point where Sonic.exe seemingly transcended its original story and became somewhat of a horror icon. Even if I'm not sure people nowadays would even be the slightest bit scared of the story or the character. You know what, let's test that out.
Yeah.
Alright, I really hope. That was too loud! I keep looking behind my back now, because it's dark.
What, you think Sonic.exe is gonna be there?
Yeah, like in those videos.
Is this a
No!
You gotta run? Oh, come on.
How do you run fast? I can't jump anymore.
Oh. But this newfound reputation gave new tourists the chance to add on to the lore of Sonic.exe, with stories such as Sally.exe. Real creative name, I know. How many kids do you think are out there that don't even understand that EXE stands for executable? Oh no, guys. I think my editing software is haunted. Adobe Premiere Pro.exe. Let's just see how much the writing improved between each entry. Maybe this time it'll even manage to be scary.
I'm a big fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog series, like a lot of people. I narrowed down to the classic Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon shows though, because I think the rest Sega had spawned was rat crap. Each to their own.
So let me get this straight. This guy is a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, but he only likes the adventures of Sonic and Sally.exe. I mean, I can see the appeal. So our hero decides to browse eBay one day, passing an old Sally plushie that has God written on it in permanent marker, and he brushes it off by assuming it's just the initials of the previous owner. Okay.
After this, they buy a DVD titled Sonic.exe Cartoon All Episodes. Looks like a YouTuber made this DVD. So the DVD arrives at his house the next morning, despite it being a Saturday. Now that's the scariest part of this story. He puts it into his computer and opens the file Sally.exe, where the intro plays normally. No blood or anything.
Why even bring that up unless you was expecting that to begin with? What does this guy know that we don't?
The computer then blue screens and reboots. He decides to then forget about whatever just happened and browse the internet like this never happened, until he finds a ROM for the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Fun game. Make up your mind, author, you either like them or you don't.
Anyways, since this is a super scary creepypasta, of course, when he started the game, things didn't play out like expected, with spooky, bloody characters on a screen with demonic music and Sega chanting in the background. Because y'all already know the only thing scarier than an evil Sonic are the people that created him.
The game is basically the same as the original Sonic.exe, where you walk to the right and something spooky happens. Except in this story, Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman are replaced with Amy, Cream the Rabbit, and... oh no. Sally Acorn? Our protagonist's favorite Sonic character? Now you've gone too far, Sonic.exe. And because he couldn't be any more obvious about this just being a carbon copy of the first story, our protagonist turns around and sees the Sally plush from eBay sitting on their bed. Only with its eyes missing. Despite the eyes in the game being sewn shut, which one is it?
Mark, that story was worse than the last one, bro. And even then, despite this story being a rehash of the original Sonic.exe, virtually everything that's unique in this story is actually just straight up stolen one for one from another Sonic creepypasta. Like, please, go and watch it yourself. It is undeniable. And I mean, to keep it real with you, the fact that this dude couldn't even be bothered to come up with his own lazy-ass creepypasta, and then to steal from not one, but two others in their entirety is pretty pathetic, bro. It's not like an EXE game or story is this complex, highly detailed, exalted form of writing that somebody like you or me couldn't possibly come up with. Most of these stories and their follow-up games are incredibly lazy and follow virtually the same exact format. You run to the right, and then you wait for the inevitable jump scare to happen.
Even though this was considered the official sequel, it didn't stop the influx of imitators trying to provide their own concepts on how this compelling story continued. And hey, I mean, you can't get much worse than plagiarism. So there's nowhere to go with up from here, I'm sure. The whole Sonic.exe thing got a bit... well, not a bit, it got very messy and convoluted. By starting to get into cults and stuff, then they redesigned him to be all buff and junk. they're making reboots now, I think, and his name is now X? At least that's what the co-creator seems to be saying.
Aw, come on now, Mark. Don't be rude, bro. She's not just the co-creator. She's the mother of X.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a joke. Let's step away from this, man. Another popular one would have to be Sonic.exe, which has its own storyline followed by Sunshine.exe and Insanity.exe. These are focused on Tails, and are for the most part based off the Game Gear version of Sonic 2.
At first, we're shown this amazing intro cutscene that appears to have been made in Windows Movie Maker that lets us know that Sonic failed at collecting all the Chaos Emeralds, and as he's known to do, runs away like a coward, leaving Tails to be killed by Dr. Robotnik. So the game, I guess, follows Tails traveling through this lost paradise purgatory type thing.
This one was surprising. Instead of it basically just being a short movie where you can sometimes press right to make the movie play, this actually tries to be a platformer. It's just too bad it was made in Game Maker. No joke, I used this in high school when I was like 13. This program is complete rubbish, it's awful. So Tails controls horribly, and it's incredibly difficult to make jumps. Not to mention if you die, you get...
Wow, what a genuine reaction.
Is it even worth going over what happens? Sonic is running through his world when he's suddenly approached by Tails.exe, I guess, and we're presented with Sonic.666. It's just a number, that's not scary, just the mere presence of that number does not equate to it being scary. Then after running for a bit, we're shown a poor quality DeviantArt drawing and...
Turn that damn thing off!
That damn thing off.
There is no sunshine. The game is over.
The game is over. This same exact thing goes on for 2 more games that try to expand on the lore by explaining why Tails is so evil, because Robotnik used him as a host body for a demon who betrays him, but any tension this game could have had was immediately washed out by unironically popping up with text boxes from Majora's Mask and using Mortal Kombat blood splatters everywhere. It's not scary, it's just immersion breaking. Not that I expected anything out of this to begin with.
A creepy game made with Game Maker. Those are words that do not belong in the same You cannot call your own game creepy, then follow it up with an edited screen cap of Sonic.exe. Wow, okay, this is hurting my eyes. I don't even know why we stayed with this for as long as we did. Let's move on.
Yeah, maybe we should take a break from Sonic. Most of them seem to just be the same exact thing repeated over and over again. And with the success of Sonic.exe, there were a ton of people inspired to make their own spooky stories about classic video games, such as the critically acclaimed Toy Story.exe.
You're joking, yeah?
Nah, bro, I heard it was a real compelling story with a ton of twisted turns that'll have you on the edge of your seat. Don't worry so much about it, man. Come on, just play the damn game.
That name looks familiar. Wait, this is the same guy who made the last game we played. Damn, he had a field day with this stuff. I guess we can only hope he improved a bit. Oh boy, more Movie Maker. This was 2014, by the way. I'm not just mocking some kid who didn't have easy access to what we have now. Movie Maker was a joke even when this was made. So in this story...
You know, this Toy Story, if you will.
I didn't even say you could stay. Why are you still here? While playing with his toys one night, Andy accidentally breaks Woody's head off. The next morning, Woody is missing and all that remains is a scary MS Paint Andy. Oh no. So after this, you play as a few of the supporting cast where things seem fine at first, but then a black and red-eyed Woody chases and kills them. It's just we're moving on.
Hey, hold on. Don't you want to see how it ends or see if it gets any better?
What's the point? We already know it's not. These are all just carbon copies of one another. There has to be at least one EXE game that's good or interesting or even somewhat unique.
Well, how about Mario.exe?
What? There is no Mario.exe.
Sure there is. Come on, bro. It's right there.
What? That's not even called Mario.exe. That's called I Hate You. Okay, alright. Fine. So this starts you at the sunken ghost ship, which I'm pretty sure is a normal level from the game. I'm not some kind of dork who plays Mario games. But after beating it, the stage's eyes start bleeding and is called, oh god, no.
Yo, I don't get it. What's the deal with these black and red eyes, bro? Like, it may have been somewhat creepy at the start because it's not really expected, but when literally every single crappy video game creepypasta feels the need to add them, It's not unexpected and disturbing no more. It's just the norm.
Mario starts walking down a hallway before seeing the words, "I hate you" written in blood on the walls. Spooky. But the next is even spookier. "You want some pie?"
Mark, that's not even close to what they're trying to say.
Look, I just want to be scared. This is Halloween, not April Fool's Day.
What?
You see, because the games are more funny than scary, so I compared it to...
Just keep playing the game.
Yeah, okay. You're next! Sorry, demonic entity, sir. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to, Okay, great, there we go. Eventually, things get more and more disturbing, and we finally have the reveal of who was causing all this chaos. That dang old Clyde Cash at it again. Just kidding, it's Luigi. Apparently, he's so upset about still being in his brother's shadow that he's gone on a killing spree to try and get rid of him. But after our epic boss fight, we defeat him once and for all and knock him into the lava. And after that... What?
What's so funny, bro?
Well, I mean, you can't be serious. That's hilarious. Mario looking all pissed at Luigi who's got his face burnt off. It's amazing.
I mean, I thought it was alright.
Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. It was a lot better than Sonic.exe. Wasn't amazing, but it was at the very least a little less cliche. But going from a 1 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10 doesn't make it any less ridiculous. I'm not denying there can't be some creative or interesting creepypastas out there based on video games. Again, I think Ben Drowned and Pokemon Black are fairly decent. Like, someone actually took the original Sonic.exe and adapted it to Sonic.exe, the PC port. And I think the visuals for this one are really good and elevate the original story. It doesn't just rely on blood or hyper-realistic visuals, or even jump scares really. It's just got some neat visuals, although it's, again, brought down by being a game maker game. But these .exes, man, it's a shame because they change how people view creepypastas for a ton of people. A lot of these fail because they rely on throwing bloody imagery in your face, along with an over-reliance on jump scares, and it's just not scary. It's annoying if anything. Sure, you'll manage to make this dude throw his headphones off for a couple seconds, but it doesn't leave any long-lasting impression. What I find scary are stories or videos that sit there. It's subtle and it lets me get into my own head. It doesn't have to be loud or flashy, it just has to be done well, and have some kind of vision.
Yeah, I think if people trying to creatively tell a creepy story based on a video game, then the best option is to try and work around a story that makes sense within the realm of the game itself, instead of mixing in different elements from a ton of different things. It would be a lot more mysterious and creepy, not to mention actually somewhat believable, if it seemed like this is something that could have happened within the game, and not that it was possessed by some random-ass demon who, for whatever reason, wanted to take its victims' souls through a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog.
I remember once as a kid opening Sonic Generations on Steam and being shown everything like normal, but all the textures of the world were bright red. This wasn't anything over the top, but I freaked out and thought I was living in a real-life creepypasta. It turns out one of the files just got corrupt, but my point is, sometimes less is more.
But even if that's not the case, it don't matter how bad these stories are, because that's what Halloween is all about, baby. Getting together with a bunch of friends and having a good time, telling each other dumb ghost stories that clearly aren't real is the spirit of the holiday. So if these bad stories still bring people joy, then maybe it's okay that they're bad, since they're still making our lives a little bit better. Wouldn't you agree, Mark?
What? Get out of my house!